Draw your sword, knock your arrows, and ready your spellbook. It's time for another episode of The Gamesmen. What role will you play?
Hello guys, gals, and guildies, and welcome to episode 1, yes I said it, 1 of The Gamesmen. We're rebooting the podcast and it is the 26th of November. I am Amras89, your host for the show, and with me today I have my co-host, Dan Knapman, also known as Hardlydan. How are you doing, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing fine, man. It's great. Got a new phone, got a new watch. Pretty sweet watch. It was free. It's 300 quid. I'm laughing. I've been playing a lot of one game, a couple of others, and yeah, just, doing the same old stuff, enjoying the same old stuff, and having beers and enjoying life. It's all good. How about you?
I'm doing good. We've been away for a decent while.
Too long.
A little bit too long. I know a couple people were wondering where we've gone. Did the podcast just drop off? No, it didn't drop off. We're still around. We just have been very busy with life.
Yeah, I kind of need to put my hand up here. I've had a load of issues. I haven't been able to keep up with editing. There's loads of shows recorded that I haven't even put up, and it is entirely my fault. There's even an interview with Dave Ostry, one of the guys kind of behind, more the advertising guy, behind Rise of the Triads reboot, and I couldn't even get that done. So yeah, it's entirely my fault. I put my hand up and I'm terribly sorry. I've just been going through a hell of a lot of shit. So hopefully with our new format and the way we're doing stuff, we'll actually be able to deliver you content.
Yeah, we're hoping to get some more people on. Maybe throwing out to people out there, if you would like to be on the podcast, talk shit about games, whatever you want to do, send us an email. You'll hear the email at the end of the show, so you'll know exactly where to go.
Yeah, you will indeed. And I guess we could spend a bit of time telling you about how this is going to work, but we're not going to. You'll just have to listen to find out. Yeah.
We're making up as we go along.
Pretty much, yeah.
We're just trying to find our groove again, or maybe make a new groove, because this is the reboot.
Yeah, a more comfortable, relaxed groove, maybe.
Yeah, a deep groove. But you did mention you've been playing a lot of games, or one game. What is that one game that you've mostly been playing?
I bet you can't guess. No, of course, you know what it is. Guild Wars 2. Hell of a lot of Guild Wars 2.
I should have made you look up how many hours you got right now.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've gone past the 1,500 hour mark.
I think I may be there now too. I don't know.
Yeah, a hell of a lot for a game that's just over a year old. I've not as much as some people. I know people that have been playing 2,000 plus hours, possibly even 3,000. So yeah, not as much as I could do. Actually, the number one person on Raptor, who has obviously lied because they've had a ridiculous amount of hours in when I first started checking it, and it worked out as more hours than you could actually play whilst Raptor was tracking it. So that's kind of hinky, and actually more hours than you could play whilst the game was available to play, including all of the betas added up. So yeah, screw you, guy. You're taking the piss. It's like 6,900 and something hours,
which is a ridiculous amount of hours.
yeah, which is possible now, but going back a year ago, it was more hours than the game had been out for and had been playable in betas, and Raptor didn't track it for quite a few of those ones anyway. So he's obviously edited how long he's been playing it for, which must be a pain in the ass, because as far as I know, there probably is another way of doing it, but as far as I know, you can only manually add the hours that you've played the game in 60-hour chunks. And okay, it's 60 hours, but that's a lot of adding. So well, maybe he's just a loser. Probably. I mean, if he plays that much Guild Wars 2, right?
No
But
time for
yeah,
any social life.
other than playing that, I guess since the last show that was out, Path of Exile's finally come out and it's no longer in beta. And it's looking glorious. If you haven't got it and you like games like Diablo, it's a free-to-play kind of dungeon crawler game. And there is so much loot. If loot is your thing, this is your game. There is so much freaking loot. It's free to play. They do have microtransactions, but I think I'm still right in saying every single microtransaction you can get is purely aesthetic. It will not affect your character in any way or means with the way that it can attack or defend itself.
Yeah, it's like I'm a silver supporter, and they gave me
Yeah.
for supporting them. I gave them that $100, and they gave me $100 of in-game currency anyway. So I've just been using that. I actually opened up the Gamesmen Guild, put in some bank slots and everything for us, and I got a couple footprints and stuff, and it looks cool. But it does nothing to, there is no Diablo 3 pay, get a good weapon, and win.
Yeah. Now, am I right in saying you can increase your storage with real currency?
Yeah, kind of like with Guild Wars where you can buy
Yeah,
bank slots or bag
bag
slots.
slots and stuff like that. Yeah, yeah. So
That's a hoarding
it
thing.
kind of, I guess, yeah, but I guess it does kind of affect the way you play because if you have more room for inventory items, you don't have to keep going back to town to sell the stuff if you're trying to get a load of gold to buy something. There isn't even gold in Path of Exile, is there?
No, it's just you pay with what are they called? Identification scrolls or whatever. Actually, wisdom
Yeah,
scrolls is
there's
what it's
loads of
called.
different there's loads of different things that work as the currency, different scrolls and items. You can get chromatic orbs if one of your items is worth enough. And it takes a little while to get your head around the
Oh, it
currency
is
system.
so complex.
But
Scott's put a lot of hours in that, and he knows a lot more than we do about how that works.
yeah, I've barely scratched the surface of Path of Exile since it came out, admittedly. I've also been playing a bit of F1 2013, which I know one of the old hosts on the Gamesmen, Yuri Excalibur, berated me for suggesting is a good driving game because, well, quite frankly, he wasn't man enough. But yeah, it is a driving sim, and it is a driving sim of Formula One cars, and they're not the easiest cars in the world to drive. It's not like getting into your Fiat Punto and driving down to the shops. But having said that, this iteration of the game feels a hell of a lot easier than previous ones. But it looks fantastic. It plays brilliantly. You've got all the tables, and with the edition I've got, you can play cars from the 80s and 90s with the drivers and the old tracks, and it's pretty damn cool. I am enjoying it, but still playing hell of a lot more Guild Wars 2. I've also had a little play around with some friends with Burnout Paradise.
Yeah, we played a
And
little bit of
the
that.
weird thing is, yeah, we have, but I've been playing it quite a bit more since as well. And the weird thing is, when I had it on my 360, really didn't like it. But now I've been playing it on my PC, it's exactly the same game. It doesn't even look any better. Well, the frame rate might be a bit higher, but that's about it. But I've been playing it with friends rather than playing it on my own with friends over the internet, and it's actually been more fun. We're just playing my kind of, I guess you could call career path, unlocking stuff and trying to unlock the next car and the next car, and we just hand around the controller and try to do stuff. You get like 10 minutes each, and we hand it round and we chat and we drink and we smoke and we eat and whatever. And it's become a far better game playing it that way than it did when I played it like I used to play Burnout Revenge, which I was fairly competitive on. At one point, I had one of the top times in the world for one of the tracks. I played it that freaking much. Burnout Paradise, yeah, I don't think it should be called Burnout. Anyway, it's an old title. It doesn't really matter. What else have I played? That's about it. Apart from I did just pick up Lego Star Wars from my local charity shop on PCCD for £1. I haven't tried to see if it works. I'm hoping that the person that had it didn't even have an internet connection, which is possible, and so they didn't register the game so I can play it. If not, I've wasted £1. But hell, it is £1 going to charity, so it doesn't really matter.
Is that the one with all 6?
No, it's the one with the original 3.
Okay, 4, 5, and 6.
I hesitate to say the first three because there's that whole kind of weird time thing we're going through where the first three at one point were 4, 5, and 6, and now the first three are 1, 2, and 3. It's weird counting on George. Well, no, on history's point past, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's about all I've been playing, apart from with my new phone.
Yeah, tell us about your new phone and that deal that you got. People can still get that deal?
I don't think they can. No, they can't. I think the deal ended on November the 14th. But the deal I got, basically, I'm running 2 phone contracts at the moment. My main contract ends in January. My original contract, I should say. And I went into the store, the 3 store where I hold the contract, and I said, like, I'm get to upgrade next month. I said, okay. Do you want to see what we can do? See if we can help you out? I was like, yeah, that'd be cool. So, okay, what phone are you interested in? I said, I rather like the Note 3. I said, okay, let's see what we can do. They brought it up and they said, right, it'll be £37 a month. I was like, okay, I was expecting that. And £99 down for the Note 3. And I said, I wasn't expecting that. And I said, what else? I said, well, no, everything else is the same, unlimited internet, 4G when we get it here and everything else included. Like, but nothing else. I've got to give you £99 now. It's like, yeah. So if I go onto the Carphone Warehouse, and the Carphone Warehouse for the people in the States it's like a it's like a middleman. You go to the Carphone Warehouse, you get your deal, and then they sign you up to one of the people that you're getting the contracts from. And I was going straight to the company that gives me the contract. I said, well, if I go to the Carphone Warehouse, I can get the same contract, that phone, and the Galaxy Gear watch without giving them a penny. And they said, yeah, we can't beat that. We can't even match that. Better off going down there. I was like, all right, see you later. Went home, signed up, and I've got myself a Galaxy Gear watch, which I haven't worn a watch for years and years and years, but damn it, I like this watch. Yeah, there's a load of problems with it. It's not as functional as it should be, but sod it, I don't care. It's got a lot better since the last update. I get all my emails, my tweets, whenever anyone mentions me on Facebook, that's on my watch. If I'm driving and I get a message, I can just tilt my wrist and, oh, look, I can see it. I can make calls through it. It's got a speaker and microphone. It's got a 1.9 megapixel camera, which doesn't sound that good. But actually, I sent you a picture, Gary, didn't I, that I took with it. And it's surprisingly good for such a low megapixel camera.
Really good. You can see the frost in the mug.
It's a great bit of kit. Where are they not? The thing that gets me is it's $300 in the States. It's £300 here. That is not on. And I know I keep complaining about how we always get shafted when it comes to prices for hardware and stuff like that. But come on, something like this watch, or actually no, anything. If it gets to the stage where I can buy it from the States and pay import duty and it still be cheaper, there is something wrong there. There really is something fundamentally wrong there. And that's including paying the US taxes on it.
Yeah.
So I'll be paying twice the taxes. And no, there is something completely wrong with that. I shouldn't be able to buy something that much cheaper somewhere else if it's a multinational company, a big company like Samsung or Asus or Microsoft, for Christ's sake, or Apple. I think they should work it out. Or, yeah, Microsoft, especially actually with the Xbox One. The fact that it is so much more expensive over here, at least Sony kind of got it right, and it's kind of balanced with the pricing between US and UK.
I thought it still
but
was
it's just,
like $50 to $100 more, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit more, but not as much more as the Xbox One, which is it's sickening. And the way they announced it, and it's only going to be £425 in the UK, and you're like, well, hang on a minute. That's like $600-700 nearly.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy. Why do we get to pay so much more? And then loads of people saying, oh, that's because the price they quoted wasn't including taxes. Well, actually, it turns out the price they quoted was including taxes in the States, wasn't it?
No, I don't think it does include tax. I think it's $500 or $499 for the Xbox, and then
plus sales tax, depending on where you are.
Yeah, in the US it's different for where you are. Like, for us it's 6% sales tax.
Yeah. For us it's 20%.
Holy crap!
But even with adding tax, it's still more expensive. You know, if you take tax out of the equation, we're still paying more. Even if you get rid of our 20% and you're, depending on what state you're in, whatever percent tax, the base unit actually costs more, which is, as a consumer, I think that's completely wrong. But it's also one of the many reasons I'm not buying a next-gen console, which I'm sure we'll get into later. But yeah, playing stuff that's pretty much it, I suppose. The Note 3, fantastic. Best phone I've ever... it feels a bit weird saying this, but I'm kind of falling a bit for this phone. It's that good. I love technology.
You're not going to do one of those Japanese things with Marriott, are you?
No. But if I lost it or it got broken or anything like that, I would be distraught. I would be really fucking upset. Not as much as if like your dog had died after having it like Bryn. I wouldn't be as upset as I was when our dog died. But I'd be pretty fucking upset. Okay, I could replace it and I wouldn't lose anything apart from some money. But it's a really good phone, and I love playing with this watch. My wrist is vibrating now, telling me that I've got an email. No, actually, I've got a Twitter response. I wonder if it's something to do with what I tweeted a minute ago. Probably not. It's probably spam. Oh, yeah, actually, I tweeted. It's just come up on my watch. I tweeted a little while ago, Gamesmen is undergoing a reboot. Is there anything you want us to talk about? And Chris Cox has just replied saying, well, there's 2 brand new consoles out. And yes, we will kind of be talking about them in a bit. But yeah, I've been playing mainly with my phone and my watch, and Guild Wars 2. So what about you, sir?
Well, we already mentioned the one thing, which is Path of Exile. Having a lot of fun with that. I'm in Act 3, and my god, does Act 3 get kind of hard. Like, you have to start worrying about condition damage and everything, like ice, fire, all that stuff, because you get hurt.
Oh, cool.
Like,
so kind of like in Guild Wars where you're doing the fractals, you've got to start worrying about agony.
Oh my god, yeah. Agony sucks.
Yeah. Agony's fine. Just don't get hit.
I don't even think it's the getting hit part. Just
No, it is, because the hit damage does agony. Anyway, we'll talk about it after the show. So yeah.
Alright, other than Path of Exile, I've been playing on the Humble Bundle, and I think it's still up for a couple days. Pinball FX 2, they had that and a few of the maps, like the Marvel maps and everything, or Marvel tables, come out with it, and I got that for $6, which was nice. But I've been playing a few tables. That I actually played another table today. Got 11 million score. I was like, oh my god! I was all excited because my highest before that was like 3 million, and I was lasting for a while. And I forgot how much fun playing pinball was. The last pinball game I ever played before this was the pinball that came on your desktop with Windows XP.
Oh yeah, that was XP, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Man, that was some crap pinball. The ball physics were all kind of hinky.
Yeah, with this game's just insane. Like all the stuff that goes just around everywhere, especially with the Marvel stuff. Like you got the villains and stuff, and then they have just the effects that happen in it. Like your ball gets caught up here and it gets held, or it gets teleported to the other side by something, in there, and it's crazy. I really, really love it. But I guess that's enough pinball. I don't know what you can really say about pinball. But I've been playing some more Monster Hunter 3 with 3 Ultimate with it depends who, but there's a podcast, or I guess you could say a video cast of normally me, the guys from Nintendo Oki, and Steve's on sometimes, a couple other people we all know around, I guess you could say, the Miiverse and from the podcast and everything, but we do a hunt we try to do once a week, once every 2 weeks or whatever, and we try to get up our HR ranks. And I almost am up to rank 5. I just need to do my urgent quest for that. And I don't know, it's a lot of fun playing Monster Hunter, getting your different equipment. I guess you could say crafting all your stuff. You got to get a bunch of different items. So you can get that stuff made, you have to get so many bones or hides or whatever to get that stuff. So that's all you work for. Actually, the armor I'm trying to go for now is just bug armor. It's armor made from a bunch, like 7, 8 different types of insects. And then there's ore and stuff that has to go into it, but that's a little bit much to get into because there's so much you can do with Monster Hunter. It's just insane.
It sounds a bit like crafting in Guild Wars 2, only much more concentrated.
Yeah, like it's a
With the
lot more of there are sets. There's sets in Guild
Yeah.
Wars, but there's like 100 different types, and you got we'll go with they have a Lagiacrus base set, then they have like a higher rank and a higher rank and like another higher rank. You just like they can keep making other ones, and there's different there's like a Lagiacrus and Ivy Lagiacrus and stuff, and they have sets for those kinds. And there's just a bunch of different sets and weapons and everything you can get. And a lot of the weapons look really cool. Steve actually got, or no, it wasn't Steve, it was Tony from Nintendo Oki. He got a set of dual blades that I really want. I can't remember the name of the monster because those monsters have some weird names. I think it's called like a Brachydios or something. It's got like slime damage and they're purple with green slime kind of coming off and they look really cool. And they got some good damage on them for the level I'm at now. But the next thing I'm going to talk about, my favorite game of the year so far, and it's not even really a game, it's a exercise game, Wii Fit U. It's free for you to download on the Wii U, and the catch behind the freeness is you have to buy the Wii Fit meter, the pedometer, which I'm wearing right now, for $20, and I bought two of them, one for me and one for my wife, and it tracks how many steps you take, the calories you burn, the elevation you go up, and it'll also put, whenever you do a goal, say you want to lose 5 pounds in 2 weeks or whatever, it puts how many calories you have to burn in a day to reach that goal. And they even add in like what a normal person would eat during a day, so you have to burn off this much so you can lose the weight.
That's not a game. That's a personal trainer.
Pretty much.
And go outside, ride a bike, go surfing, go for a walk. Gee, that's not video game. That's not what we're here to talk about, damn it.
It is a game. I'm not to the game part yet. I'm just talking about the Wii Fit meter right now. But that, the Wii Fit meter it tells you, like, if you're going on a hike, going up a mountain, this is the next part I'll get to. But if you go up a mountain, it'll track your elevation. So say you go up 200 feet up a mountain.
If you go 200 feet up a mountain, you haven't got very far.
It's kind of far. It's a decent hill.
Yeah, I live quite near the coast, and I'm 1,500 feet above sea level. So, yeah, it's not that far.
But anyway, going to the Wii Fit meter and everything, they have in the game, quote unquote.
It's not a game. I'm sorry, it's not a game.
I'm not to the game part. It's got game elements that make you exercise, and I'll get to that as well because that sucks. They have they use your Wii Fit meter in a neat way where it takes your steps and it goes for how many miles you walked in a day or how high you climbed. And it actually has, like, you could say courses. So one of them is New York that I finished. And it takes you throughout, like, it just takes you on this path, which goes around to these different areas. Now, you don't really see anything. They have, like, kind of landmark kind of things on the map that they're showing, and just a path that fills up with you walking it, your little me walking along it. And say you'll do, like, a mile one day. It'll go that mile, and then it'll say, the Wii Fit board will say, you have walked 200 lengths of a tuna, or how far you walked is like 200 lengths of a tuna. And they just give you these stupid little things. They give you like different shirts and outfits you can wear in the game by completing stuff. So how high I have walked since I've got this has been, I think it's been 700 feet, I believe. And I've gone up the Statue of Liberty and like the pyramid of something. I can't remember what pyramid they said it was.
Giza?
No, it started with a Z, I think.
Most of the pyramids are around Giza. I was just taking a stab in the dark there.
Yeah, I would have known if it was Giza because I remember that one.
You're still not selling it to me as a game.
If you like working out, you'll like it. I don't know. But it's just got the cool little things with the Wii Fit meter that they've added into it. But it's good that it's free because it's mostly Wii Fit plus a couple other things. But the one thing that got me to really work out without thinking about it and my legs were dying for the next 3 days is the one new thing they added, which is called, I can't remember what it's called, but it's the trampoline one. And you pretty much squat and then you push up to make yourself jump, and the Wii Fit board like tracks you doing that. And it was a lot of fun fake jumping on a trampoline. And I did probably 3 times as many squats as I've ever done in my life, and my knees were killing me for 3 days. Like I could barely walk the next day. It hurt so bad. So it's really good at making you want to work out. But if you want to do like yoga and stuff like that, they have all
Yeah.
that stuff. And that's really, really good for working out.
See, I can't help but think, with yoga, it's all about getting in the right position. I can't help but think, something like the 360 with Kinect, with its, the all-seeing camera, would actually be able to tell that you're in the right position more than what is essentially a glorified set of bathroom scales.
See, the thing that really works with it is it takes your balance. So how you're shifting your weight tells you if you're in the right position. And you're trying to hold
Yeah, but
yourself.
they can't tell if you've got your left foot in exactly the right place. Whereas the Kinect and the Kinect 2 with like the infrared camera and everything else that's in there can actually, it figures out where your skeleton is, and it can actually kind of figure out if you are in the right place. I'm sure I could adopt a position on the Wii Fit board that wasn't the position they want me to be in, but I just happen to be pressing right on the right sensors, so it would think that I was in the right
No,
position.
I've tried. It doesn't work. I've tried to slack off, and it will not. We'll go with
No, I'm not talking about slacking off. I'm talking about deliberately fooling it
yeah.
rather than
You
slacking
can't
off.
really do. There's a couple that you can kind of fake push in the right direction, because you can push down like with your hand on your leg, on a couple of them to make it go further. But that's not like you. If you're doing this, you want to be working out like I am. I want to try to lose
Well,
weight and
yeah,
stuff. So I really enjoy doing the yoga on it because with my asthma and everything, they have like deep breathing and it's helping my breathing. Especially since we're back at my parents trying to save up to get a house. They have like 20 cats and I'm definitely allergic to cats and it's very bad for me.
So all donations to Fund Gary's House are gladly accepted
It's up on Kickstarter.
via daniel.natman@googlemail.com. Just send me the info and I'll pass it on, I promise.
Huh, Dan got a really powerful PC. How do you do that? But yeah, and
It's the price of your house.
that's a really expensive PC. That's like the master computer program. They've added a couple more exercises in there as well, like I guess you could say the actual muscle building kind of stuff, like push-ups, squats, stuff like that. Add a couple more of those with the same ones they had before, so that stuff's good. I haven't had a lot of time into it to actually do all that stuff, but since I have a 5-day weekend and a 10-day, I guess you could say vacation period from the 20th of December to 30th, I will definitely be doing a lot more of that and trying to lose as much weight as possible for once because I need to lose weight. I'm fat.
You and me both, sir. You and me both. I'm going to attempt it by playing video games and occasionally going surfing. I think I'll know who's going to have more fun.
Hey, I have a lot of fun with Wii Fit U. I really, really like it, and I don't know why I enjoy that game so much because every time I step on that damn board, she goes, "That's obese!" And I want to punch her in her stupid little fit board face.
You, sir, are a sadist. And a masochist, and possibly since you bought that adapter for your wife, a sadist as well.
She enjoys it too. Oh, and they have a
Bet she
dance.
does. Oh, chicka wow wow.
And they have a dance section on it too. I do not know how that one works. I'll have to find out.
That involves coordination and rhythm and stuff.
Well, they kind of
so
have
why
like
guys can't do it.
they also have like a step thing. I don't know if anybody's ever had like one of those. I think it's even in kind of yoga class kind of stuff, or you could say older citizen kind of stuff where they step up and off of the board. And like those aerobic classes.
That's actually quite a good thing to do by all accounts.
Oh, I did that for a half an hour. I used to watch TV with Courtney and just put that on and do it for a half an hour. And it says you burn like 200 some calories just by doing that for half an hour. So it seems to be good. Walking is always good. I want to get like an elliptical or something really bad so I can do exercising on that. because that's how I lost a lot of weight back in the day. But let's get off of fitness, because I'm sure people don't want to hear about fitness on a gaming podcast.
Yeah, especially since I was about to talk more about fitness, and I thought, why now? Hang on a minute, that's not a good idea. What we got up next?
One of my last games is I did the Kickstarter for Defense Grid 2, and they're like, hey, since you did this, we're going to give you an alpha to our game. And apparently a lot of people talked about this game. I don't know how many people know about it that listen to this, but it's called Windborne from Hidden Path Studios, or sorry, Hidden Path Entertainment.
It sounds like it should be like a Skyrim add-on.
Windborne, yeah. There wasn't just a Dragonborn, there was a Windborne.
Oh, it should be the add-on for Stick of Truth, the Windborne. There we go.
You better send that over to Ubisoft.
To Matt and Trey.
Oh my god.
One fart to rule them all.
Oh my god. No, but Windborne is actually basically Minecraft HD. It's not block textures, but you still get blocks out of it. But there's actually smooth edges to stuff. So I spent 6 hours for no reason at all. Just, you can't even call it mining, because all you do is you hold your hand out and the hand glows and you
do shit.
You compress the
thing is,
block.
I listened to you for 3 of those hours, going, I'm laying the foundation of my house, and then 3 hours later, I've done the foundation, the house is huge, and then you start working the walls, and I was like, yeah, it sounds a lot like when I was playing Minecraft, but the thing is, you say Minecraft HD, there are, for the PC version at least, HD texture packs that you can install, and it looks freaking fantastic.
Yeah, this game looks pretty nice, especially for an alpha. I haven't even got into the crafting part. I just took blocks and built a house. A very, very, very big house. What was it? 50 or 60 blocks long by 30 wide. And
see, in Minecraft, that would be 60-ish yards, I suppose, by 30 yards, which doesn't seem that big, does it?
Not really. But the other thing is, behind the house, I cleared out a complete cave. And it's about the size of the house, if not bigger, and I dug. The other thing with it is it's not like land. It's land, but you're on a floating island, I guess you could say, and it's more like I guess you could say egg shape, kind of egg shape. There's flat spots, but it's got that same bottom shape of that, and then it's got mountains and stuff over it. But on that, it also had a desert, plains, stuff like that. So it was a lot of fun to go through. I actually need to try to craft in it, because I don't know how half the stuff works. But they give you a workbench and everything, like a stove and stuff, like in Minecraft.
Well, off the bat, or do you have to make them?
No, they actually gave you those. I don't know if it's because it's the alpha or if they're gonna be modes.
It could well be.
But we'll see. You can make
one
them,
thing
though.
One thing that strikes me about all the games we've talked about that we've played, and I know you've still got something else to talk about, but we've not yet mentioned any games that are on the, I guess now current gen of consoles.
That's because I
guess we should explain, because I'm certainly not buying one. And you're not until you can afford it, right?
Yeah, I kind of need to save up a little bit of money. I wasn't going to get on launch because I knew there were going to be some stuff that would be going on, which we will be talking about in a couple of minutes. But
I think we all learned our lesson 7 or so years ago when the 360 came out. Yeah, but before we get on to the next section, and actually I probably should do this after you talk about your last game, so perhaps we'll fit it in
just
somewhere.
Give me...
So what else have you been playing?
The last game I was just going to briefly mention was Guild Wars 2. Still playing that, mostly just after I finished my Legendary. I've been I said I was going to take a break, and I haven't taken my break yet.
Yeah, I did as well. Well, I'm working on my second legendary. Well, actually, no. Now I'm working on an ascended weapon so that I can work on my second legendary when apparently precursor crafting comes out. But that's like really deep, and if you don't want to know more, then hit me up. But yeah, it's surprising how much we've actually played of this game because you and I were both kind of, well, I was pretty much anti MMOs before I started Guild Wars 2. I didn't like them. All the ones I played for a bit and they just didn't grab me, didn't enjoy them. Obviously, every single show since Guild Wars 2 came out, what have I been playing? Guild Wars 2, and it's been over a year now and I'm still playing that game. And I was just thinking, what is it that keeps us playing it? And I'm not entirely sure that it's the new content every 2 weeks. That definitely helps because there's new stuff every 2 weeks for us to do. But I've got a funny feeling I'd still be playing it even if that didn't happen, because there's so much stuff that you can do in there anyway without all the new stuff that, there's still stuff I haven't done from the original release game that still, I haven't done that, that part of that dungeon or that part of that dungeon. There's still quite a lot that I haven't done that I probably would have done by now, and well, maybe I'd have given up on it. But I don't know. I mean, do you think that the approach they're taking with the new content every 2 weeks is maybe hindering the game, where that team that's the teams that are doing the content could be working on, let's say, multi-core optimization, because it runs like shite on my computer and it should run really well. Okay, it's a fairly cheap computer, but built for, I got good deals on everything basically, so it's much better than it should be for the price. I've got an 8-core processor, well, technically 4-core, but there's mathematics and shit involved that I don't quite understand. And I've got a good graphics card, and okay, I've only got 8 gigs of RAM, but it seems like it doesn't matter. If I go from absolute best settings, which my rig can run and it looks fantastic, I get like 12 frames per second. And if I go to complete minimum, I get 40 frames per second. And that doesn't seem to kind of be right. I've got it looking as crap as possible, and my stats are way above the launch specs. And they just don't seem to be working well with multi-core computers. I've done a lot of research into it.
Would you say you get at the best settings?
At the best settings, well, it varies. I guess it hovers around 24 frames per second.
I think I get like close to 60. I think whenever I had something running.
I think it's basically, it's not optimized for AMD multi-core processors, because I've seen people that are using like dual. I say multi-core, I mean more than dual core basically. So there's people running old high-end AMD dual core processors, which technically aren't as good as my processor, and graphics cards that are either on a par or worse than mine, getting much better frame rates on similar settings. But everyone else using the CPU I'm using, there's no real multi-core support. And I think if you look into it, you'll find people with, if you could find a dual-core processor similar to yours, which is obviously a quad-core, an old high-end dual-core Intel processor, and compare it with the two, they'll probably be getting better frame rates than you're getting, because it's not optimized for multiple cores. And I'd quite like them to actually work on that rather than new content every 2 weeks. Now, don't get me wrong, I enjoy the new content every 2 weeks, but it is generally so easy that I get it done within the first, and if not the first day, the first 3 days of it coming out.
But this newest one, it did take you over a week, right, to finish it?
Yeah, purely because I didn't play very much over that 2 weeks.
Not that much, is still
a couple of hours a day. No, I didn't go into that area much at all.
Yeah.
Until I was like, okay, let's do it. If I'd put my mind to it, I could have done it in the first 2 days easily, but I didn't. So I kind of deliberately did that because I wanted to kind of eke it out a little bit. I also didn't want to leave it until too late because people stop playing it and it becomes harder and harder to do as more and more people have got what they want and they don't keep going back in. So you kind of got to get that balance out. And, it's like the monthlies. Like the other month I got it done on the first day. For monthly achievements, you shouldn't be able to do them in one day. I mean, that's what daily achievements are for, not monthly achievements. But
I've been trying to play other games, like I've been playing some more games, and try to play Guild Wars an hour or two a night just to keep stuff going.
Oh, I thought of something. I know we possibly mentioned it on a show. I'm not entirely sure if I got it up, but finally got around to buying The Walking Dead Season 2. It's 10% off everywhere. And it turns out if you don't make the mistake I made, if you go to telltalegames.com, I think it is, and buy it from them with their 10% discount, you can get a chance to, well, not a chance, you are then offered the a special disc version. Then all you've got to do is pay postage, and it's the only way of getting it. I probably should have done a little bit more research into it, but if you're going to buy it and you haven't bought it yet and you want that 10% discount, get it from their site, and if you like The Walking Dead, you can get extra stuff for the price of postage. So yeah, don't do what I did, buy it on Steam. No. I think that's a bit about this section, really, isn't it?
Yep, pretty much. Well, I think that's enough game talk. Let's move on to the news. So, the news. Some console came out on Friday, and the Friday before that, there's another console. The Xbox One and the PS4 finally came out on the 22nd and the 15th, I believe, right? But the thing we're gonna kind of talk about is not how good these consoles are right now, because neither of us have them, so we can't really say how much we like them. But I wanted to kind of compare the faults with the launch, and this mostly came because I heard a lot of people complaining about how PlayStation had the blue light of death, and people saying, oh, PlayStation screwed up and all this stuff. So I want to kind of compare the problems that have happened. So we'll go with the Xbox One since that released most recently. And a couple of the problems that I heard was they have broken disk drives. And Dan, do you want to tell everyone how you fix a broken disk drive?
Well, there's a video going around, and if you have an Xbox One with a disk drive that won't eject your disk, apparently, well, you've probably already seen it, but apparently the thing to do is to turn it upside down and give it a few swift hits above the, directly opposite where the disk drive is, and apparently that should sort it out. However, I must state we do not recommend you do this because we don't want to be at fault for your own stupidity. And if you bought an Xbox One, I'm sorry, I can't help you.
I think the funniest thing about this is it's going back to the NES where you had to hit the game up and down like 10 times for it to actually start working again. And so you have to beat on your Xbox to get it to work.
Yeah, but obviously the proper answer and what you should actually do is take it back to the place you bought it from if they've got stock. If they don't have stock, then actually Microsoft has a pretty damn good system in place from the old RROD days, and they're pretty swift on picking up your console and sending you a new one, and they have stated that they will sort it out.
This is the thing I wanted to mention. I don't know if you heard this yet, Dan, but Microsoft is actually going to send you a console before you ship yours back.
I wonder if there's some way I can get a free Xbox console out of that. Probably not. They probably figured it out. I'm kind of miffed that I didn't get a free one, having had an Xbox, the original Xbox, and been on Live for years, Xbox Live, and then becoming an Xbox ambassador and answering loads of people's questions and stuff like that. Apparently, they were going to reward loyalty, and I guess the past year or so where I've turned to PC and still using Microsoft fucking Windows and not complaining about that, but apparently that I can't get a free one. And to be honest, don't really care because the games are too expensive. And actually, there's something I'm going to touch on at the end of this bit with the new consoles that will cover that, if you don't mind.
That's fine. But
it should be short and concise.
Another of the problems I've heard, actually not even just heard, seen, because somebody put a video up, very, very loud buzzing noise coming from the disk drive. Like
it's an Xbox. They're not quiet.
Oh no, this is like your disc is getting scratched over and over again. It was like a loud pitch squeal coming from
Well, that's probably the start of problem one, broken disk drive, isn't it?
Yeah, that's kind of why I put it right under it. It's probably hand in hand with it.
Yeah, and the thing is, I thought we'd all learned to expect that consoles on release, whilst it's nice to have them when they're all new, shiny, oh, look at this, and hear the sound, boom, and you hear the startup noise, and you let it hang in your sitting room for hours because it's just like, oh, this is new. But they're going to have problems. They are new. They haven't been properly tested. They've been tested a bit, but they haven't been tested everywhere, and it's going to have teething problems. Of course it is.
Especially since everything has to hook up online now, and
yeah,
they can be updated and fixed and all that. But whenever you mass produce something, there are defects.
Yeah. And the test consoles won't necessarily be the same as the mass-produced consoles.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah. But the one problem that I would have been very upset with, especially with my new shiny console, is if I would have had scuffs on it. People showing that they had marks on their brand new consoles that they just took out of the box. I would be pretty upset if you get this new thing and it looks like it's been used by like a 5-year-old.
That's got to be a tough one to prove, surely.
Yeah.
I mean, do you actually know of anyone that's had that?
Me personally, no. It's just stuff that I've seen online.
I mean, it could just be people that have just scuffed it whilst taking it out of the box, and then they're like, oh, look at that, it's got a scuff on it. You just did that with your watch. Yeah, I know, but I'm going to complain and make a video about it and see if I can get a new one. It could just be that, People are people. They will try to get what the hell they can for free, and if a scuff on their Xbox that they've put themselves means that they can get a replacement Xbox, they're not going to get a refund and get to keep the Xbox, really, are they? But
yeah, I'm sure they get a new one. Microsoft would put a fresh kind of paint or whatever on it and then send it back out. And another thing, which I guess I'm kind of happy about because of people complaining about the Wii U at launch with its hour-long, day one update. Apparently, the Xbox One has the same problem where it has horrible, well, put it this way. It's either it has a very long update time or it's not updating at all. And it's telling people, like, they have to connect to the internet for this, and then they're connected to the internet, but it's still not telling that they're connected to the internet, so they can't update. And people are just
not
happy with that.
Terrible.
So I'm kind of happy about that one because people complain about the Wii U. And looking at some of these problems, the Wii U did not have that many issues with it. It was either, I guess...
No, if someone was to say, to stop and ask me and say, hey, Dan, what console should I buy for my kid this year? I'd say, well, have you got a Wii U? And if they said no, I'd say, I'd tell them to buy that.
Well, if they have a kid, they should.
Well, no, even if they don't have a kid, if they're a gamer and they're not too sure, I'd probably say, yeah, buy the Wii U. At the moment, if you've got enough money to not worry about it, and actually to buy a freaking console, then yeah, buy the Wii U. There's more games out now. There's a load of games coming out soon that are pretty damn good.
And there are games that just came out this past weekend.
Yeah,
that are really going to sell that at least
they figured out all the technical stuff. It's all working fine. It's just, it's what it is. But yeah, there's no way I suggest anyone should buy an Xbox One or a PS4 at the moment, because let's face it, the games out on them, whilst they might look nice,
they're very few.
They're pretty poor. The games aren't great, and it's like, oh yeah, but new console, and that's the thing. Every time a console gets released, the games that come out of it are shocking. But because it's a new console, people go, oh yeah, but new console. Like, yeah, but this game is shit. Yeah, but no new console. No shit game. Yeah, but new console. Shit game. The games are fucking shit. Don't buy an Xbox One. Don't buy a PS4. Forza 5. Oh, yeah, new Forza, new console. Oh, lovely, lovely. No, it's probably going to be the worst Forza in the history of that console. It's not worth buying the console for. They will be better Forzas. This Forza isn't much better than Forza 4. I've played it. It looks nice. It's not that great. Trust me. Honestly, it isn't that freaking great. In fact, the whole Forza genre, I know people are going to hate me for saying this. I love driving games, but Forza is not... it's not arcadey. It's not an arcade game. It's not a sim game. It's somewhere in between, and it just feels a bit too kind of plastic fantastic. It's not really anything. It's just bland. It really freaking is bland. And then you've got the PS4 with whatever it is that's come out on it. They're all shit at the moment. Everything new is shit. Just don't buy any new games.
They have Shadowfall, Knack. Was it Shadowfall, Knack? Battlefield 4. Actually, I think Shadowfall and Knack are the only exclusives on it right now.
And they're all brightly coloured, nice-looking, polished turds. For actual gameplay, I played quite a lot of them at Eurogamer, and yeah, well, look at some of the reviews. The games, they're just not that great. And the reviews with people giving them high scores and praising them, they're probably just looking at them because, oh look, new console, lovely. It's nothing to do with the game. A lot of the reviews for the new games, they're just idiots. And I'm sorry if you're a console gamer and a die-hard console gamer, but I'm probably going to have to put you in the idiot pile too, because for the first time in history, I'm saying it a little bit earlier than I should be, but for the first time in history, you can get a PC that's capable of doing the same that a console can do for a similar price. In the past, we're used to, especially with the PS3 and the 360, Microsoft and Sony put loads of money into those consoles, and the PS2 and the Xbox, loads of money, and made a loss on every single one, quite a substantial loss on each one, because they packed so much processing power and graphical power into them. But now home PCs, and the parts have become so much cheaper. You can do what I did and build a pretty damn good gaming PC that will at least match the graphical fidelity of the Xbox One and the PS4 for the same kind of money, and do everything else that a PC does. Now, when it gets to that stage, I no longer see the point in consoles. Don't get me wrong, I've loved playing consoles, and they were a great way to access graphics that a PC at that time would have cost thousands of pounds or thousands of dollars. They'd have been stupidly expensive, but you could get this console that would play these games that looked way better than anyone's home PC could do. But now, it's balancing out, and PCs, home PCs are so much cheaper, and they do so much more. Why would you restrict yourself to a device that is going to stay exactly the same for the next 7 years, when you could buy a PC, and then as and when you feel like upgrading bits of it, you can upgrade bits of it? It seems pointless. I can't understand why this console generation even exists. I really can't.
Yeah, I'm gonna get them just because I like having my consoles.
But you can see my point, can't you?
Yeah.
But
most of those games, or a lot of games, I believe, are gonna start coming out on PC as well, just because the consoles pretty much are, I guess you say, mini PCs, because they're
they are
PCs in a box, and everything is ported, or should be easier to port now onto computers, just because they're using computer software more or less for them. But I'm still gonna get them eventually, of course. I'll probably get a PS4 first. So I'm thinking probably sometime next year, maybe middle next year. See what games actually are gonna be out. Because there are a few games that I'd really like to play. I normally get them for the exclusive, so I'm gonna spend $400 for whatever on a PS4, get those 6 to 10 exclusives that I'm really gonna want. I'm gonna get the Xbox for, Halo and stuff like that. But anything else that just for the fact that I can pay, say, if I want to wait or I don't have the money right away, we'll go with Tomb Raider. I got Tomb
Yeah.
Raider in the first week for $30, I believe. So half the price.
Yeah. And which version looks best?
I never played it on a console, so I wouldn't really know, and I never did or looked at like a side-by-side comparison, but it looked amazing
I've
on the
seen
PC.
quite a few videos, and I'm pretty damn sure. Basically, when Tomb Raider came out, obviously not the original, the latest one, the PC was pushing what I guess you could class as next-gen graphics, looking at the release titles of these consoles. I mean, Call of Duty Ghosts on the 360 is in 720p. Woo. The PS4 version, or was it Battlefield? I can't
I
remember.
think
One
it's
of the two.
Battlefield was in
Yeah.
720 and
900.
Yeah,
It
900.
upscales it to 900. Whoop-de freaking do. 900. You know what I can play in? 1080p. And that's only because that's the limit of my screen. If I had a better screen or multiple screens, I could play it in much higher resolutions with a 450 quid PC.
I will have a 4K monitor someday whenever they're a lot cheaper. I can't wait to have one of those. All right, let's get ourselves moving on to some the PS4 issues that were going on. I'll let you take those, Dan.
Yeah, well, there's been a fair few of them, and I must admit I'm not actually looking at the document at the moment, so let's see what I can remember. The blood, as I like to call it. Yeah. The blue light of death. I'm not entirely sure what's causing it myself. Perhaps you can enlighten me on that. I've got a funny feeling it might have something to do with the fact that the PS4 is so much smaller than the Xbox One and has an internal power supply, which is going to cause a lot of heat problems.
Is it so much smaller?
It's quite significantly smaller, yes.
Oh.
And it has the internal power brick, so you just plug in your mains lead straight into it, and you don't have the power brick like you had with the Xbox 360 or the Xbox One or whatever.
That's a Sony thing, is they have their power brick on the inside. But
that's going to be producing a lot of heat, and as Microsoft have learned, a lot of heat and inside a console with restricted airflow, that produced a lot of the red rings of death with cracked solder joints and melting bits and whatever else happened. And I think that's the reason why the Xbox One's so much bigger, because they were like, whoa, shit, we need to keep this thing cool. And Sony were like, yeah, no, we're cool. Oh, crap, blood. And then I got a funny feeling that might be something to do with it. However, if I was forced to buy one of the two consoles, it would be the Sony one I'd be going for, purely because I think at the moment it's the better machine. The controller's much nicer. The price point, if you factor in the less capable Sony i 2.0 or whatever the crap they're calling it, that levels them out pretty much, and it's a worse camera. Of course, when you compare that to cameras you can get for a computer and how cheap they are, it's laughable how much they're charging for them. Okay, with the Kinect you've got all those other bits and pieces involved, but you could still kind of emulate that with the computer, or I don't know, do something constructive like watch Breaking Bad. And I'm not exactly saying watching that's Breaking Bad, but it's more constructive than trying to play a game with Kinect. But I'm sorry, I'm a really jaded standpoint here. I used to be a console gamer. I used to love consoles, but from a monetary point of view and from a gaming point of view, I can't see the point anymore. And if there is, why would I buy a machine that could play the same games that I want to play, but cost me £10 more a game on average, and quite often a lot more per game. Why would I do that? You'd be stupid. So you can have this that'll play these games for this price, or you can have this that'll play these games, the same games, but they'll cost you this much more, and they won't look any better. They won't, nothing. In fact, they might be a little bit worse than on this system. Why would you go for the system that you can't upgrade, that you can't do anything with, and the games cost more? Why would you go for that when you could build something for a similar price where the games are cheaper and you're not stuck with it, and you can upgrade stuff and you can keep up with current developments?
I know a lot of people, since they got that, friends list on the Xbox, and they want to stay with all their friends on that kind of stuff and move over. Now, one thing I want to get at, you said PlayStation 4 control being a better controller. How weird is that they went from Xbox, the 360 controller being like the best controller ever, and I'm hearing a lot of people praise the PS4 controller now.
Yeah, the PS4 controller is very good, but I still don't think it's better than the 360 controller. I've obviously had a go on the Xbox One and the PS4 a few months back, and I don't think any of them are actually an improvement on the Xbox 360 controller, to be honest. The Xbox One thumbsticks feel a little bit too light for my liking, and the rumble packs in it, they've got like one on each side at the base and then further up, so you're supposed to be able to feel different things for shots. Yeah, but the motors are so pathetically weak, you might as well not have them, but they just don't really work as well as the motors in the Xbox 360 controller. And yeah, the thumbsticks aren't as tight. It doesn't feel as well made. That might have been because I was on I don't know if I was on a pre-production Xbox One by then, because it was fairly close to launch. It was a couple of months ago. They should have been, well, it could have been an early dev unit, I suppose, or a late dev unit, or a dev unit. But it didn't feel as, how the Xbox 360 controller just kind of fits, and it just feels spot on. It didn't feel quite the same. And actually, the one thing I've added to my 360 controller to make it even better was a set of squid grips, and that with those, it's just so comfy, and yeah, brilliant. If you don't know what squid grips are, may I suggest you try Google. But yeah, get yourself some squid grips. They're dirt cheap, like $20 at the most. Well worth using. Absolutely fantastic. Can't rate them enough.
Didn't you win yours on Twitter or something?
Yeah, I've won loads of shit off Twitter, but yeah, I won that off Twitter. All those retweet this to win stuff. Some of them are true, and every now and then you win. You might as well try them. I've entered a competition to win some more because, well, you never know. And I've got another controller that needs squid grips, and I'm too tight to pay the £15 plus postage to get another pair, to be honest. If I win them, way. But yeah. No. Anyway, back to what we're doing here. Yeah. So we've had the blue light of death. Do you know what that's about? Does anyone know what it's about yet?
The blue light of death. I heard it.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was overheating, because the power brick inside the console and the tiny little console. The other problem they've had, which showed up before it actually came out on sale, with people getting like early editions from competitions they'd won. They'd been sent out, a bit like, I buy a game off Amazon and it comes a few days early. And that's the malfunctioning HDMI port. I haven't heard so much about the USB ports, but mainly about the HDMI, because that's obviously the first thing you're going to notice when the whole screen starts looking wobbly and going a bit crap on you and looking anything else but next gen. And I kind of can't help but think that Sony dropped the ball there, because HDMI has been out in its various forms, because it keeps evolving. I don't know what.
I think it just may have been some with how it was connected on, that it had a bad connection to it. That goes along with the mass production stuff, I believe.
Yeah, but you kind of expect the APU to be attached to the motherboard properly. You kind of expect the HDMI port to be attached to the motherboard properly. It's not. something you can just put down to mass production. That's something you put down to quality control, and obviously their quality control wasn't good enough because stuff like that shouldn't happen.
Yeah, I didn't see, maybe because it's not that long after the Xbox release, but I didn't see how many percent or how much percentage they were getting failures because I believe it was 4% for Sony. They had 4% of their million that they shipped out.
Yeah, which isn't bad, but
Yeah, that was like
yeah,
40,000 or whatever.
the vocal disgruntled are going to be far louder than the quiet, satisfied people going, well, mine's fine, I'm just going to
Everyone
play
that
this.
I know has had no problem with it. What was that? Carrie, Namchi
Yeah, he hasn't
never,
opened his yet, so we don't know about that.
he hasn't even touched it since he got it.
Yeah.
Oh man. But let's move on to the last one that I just decided to throw in here for shits and giggles because it is technically a next gen.
Now, this sounds like a new model because I haven't heard of the sexy Wii U. I've just heard of the Wii U.
It is a sexy Wii U. Wii U is
Yeah,
sexy, damn it.
And if someone was adamant of buying a console, actually no, if someone was adamant of buying a console and they didn't have any consoles, I'd probably suggest that they'd save their money and buy a 360 or a PS3 and pick up all those dirt cheap games that are going down there because there are some of the best games of a generation available on there for not much money at all, and you can pick up an Xbox One plus 3 games for like 150 quid, if that. You shop around, probably even cheaper. So that's what I'd say to people to buy little Johnny for his first console. It would be an Xbox 360 or a PlayStation 3 or possibly a Wii U.
Even though we still got all those different, especially if it's for, a kid.
Yeah, but if it was for a kid, I probably wouldn't
I
bother
would say 8 or
because they're
above.
not going to. Yeah, I might go even higher than that. But let's say 10 plus. I'd go Christmas. They haven't got a console. They've never played anything. What's going to be cheapest for your pocket? A last gen console and a shitload of games.
Hey, they're having
Because
the Wii U Mini or Wii Mini coming out in the US. Have no idea why.
that horrible thing we talked about ages ago.
Yeah, they came out in
That was coming
Canada,
out in Canada. Oh,
and I think they discontinued it as well in Canada like a couple months after it started. But apparently it's coming
see,
to the US, or it came to the US. I can't remember.
if I lived in like the back end of nowhere, had no internet connection, and really wanted to play, no, I still wouldn't buy one.
See, I think they mostly did that because whenever that came out,
Someone had a
like,
hemorrhage, a brain hemorrhage,
yeah.
and thought, hey, this is a good idea. Let's build something that looks like the old Game and Watch Mario game that used to unfold, and but put it as a console. But you can't connect it to shit. Except you'd be like, oh, hey, I got a good idea. You made it look like that, but you can't connect to shit.
But it came out after the Wii U launched, right? I believe that's what it was.
It was
Or
close.
right
It
at
was
the
just
end.
before the Wii U launch.
Yeah.
I think it was a couple of months before. I think in Canada.
And I think they
And
did that just because.
Nowhere else.
Yeah, I think they did that because they're shutting down a lot of their online, or their I can't remember what they're called, like their forecast thing and all that. So they were shutting down a bunch of those. So they're like, well, nobody's gonna need it anymore, so let's just not add it in.
No one needs updates. No, no one needs anything. Let's just give them a handheld console you connect to your TV. Sorry, going into a weird American accent there. But yeah, let's just give these idiots a handheld console who connect to the TV and have to use controller. That'll sell.
That was like an Asian slash, I guess you could say American slash British. You put
I have
everything
no
in
idea
there.
what accent that was. That was a bit of everything in there. But I don't understand why the mini Wii thing exists. Especially when
You
the
might as
Wii's
well get a
so damn
Wii.
cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might as well get a Wii U
I think it's
because
like
that's
$20
damn
more
cheap.
for a Wii, and then double that's like a Wii U now.
The Wii U did have its issues from launch. I remember a lot of people moaning about the update when you bought it, and people saying, oh, if you're buying it for someone for Christmas, open it up, update it, and then they'll be able to play stuff when they go, oh, Wii U. They won't have to sit there going, is it done yet, Dad? Dad, how long is it going to be? Dad, is it done? No, shut up. Dad, no, go to bed. It's past your bedtime. Go to bed. Dad, no, it's not done yet. But it's Boxing Day. No, it's not done yet. Eat some turkey.
Oh my god. Yeah, but I think that's what people are going to have to do this year for the Xbox, apparently, because of the long updating times. But it wasn't really that long. Like, I didn't mind it when I got it.
No, but when you're waiting for something, it seems so much longer than it actually is.
Well, I was smart and I was playing my 3DS or something while I was waiting for it, so I wasn't really waiting.
I used my PC. As listeners may tell, I have completely converted to PC gaming. Yes, there are a few exclusive titles that I'm going to miss out on, and Destiny, unfortunately, seems to be one of them. But when you look at stuff like Gears of War, Path of Exile, not Gears of War, well, that's one I can't play. Oh, what a shame. When you look at Guild Wars 2, Path of Exile, and Star Citizen, which can only be on the PC, the future's bright. The future's rosy.
Yeah, Star Citizen is going to be pretty cool when that comes out.
And the future, if you know what you're doing, which is pretty fucking simple, is made by you by buying bits and putting them together and making your own PC, because it's the cheapest and most fun way of doing it.
That's what I've been doing with Courtney's. I've just been buying a part a month, pretty much. Those expensive parts, at least. Actually, it would be built, but I've been getting shit parts in, and Newegg didn't take my last part for some strange reason. So I had to buy another one. Yay. But that's going to turn people off PC.
Well, maybe Newegg. But yeah, I guess that's that bit of the news. New consoles, they've all got problems. And, well, Gary cares a bit. I don't. I really, sorry for your bad luck. Should have bought a PC. That's my view, honestly. Just quickly, there's going to be console games going, I can't use keyboard mouse. You can use any controller you bloody well want to. You really can. Even that odd 3-pronged Nintendo 64 one.
Yeah, the 64.
I think there are ROMs for that. If you don't mind rewiring it to USB, I think you can still use that.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So
can't you use the PS4 controller now?
Yeah, the PS4 controller, and next year, which isn't that far away, they'll have support for the Xbox One controller. But if you're a PC gamer, I wouldn't bother buying it because, well, A, mouse and keyboard, and B, you've got a perfectly good Xbox 360 controller that you probably use for the odd games that you need to use it for.
I may not, because DirecTV guys came into my room because my parents had them come in to fix the satellite. Because now I can watch TV, which I haven't watched in like 2 years.
Did they find your illegal porn stash?
Yes.
Are they threatening to sue you?
No. They ran the cabinet. There's like a little cabinet the TV's sitting on. They ran it over my Xbox controller. They knocked my Xbox controller onto the floor and ran it over. And the whole controller was under it. I didn't even know it could fit under it.
Wired or wireless?
Wired.
You can pick one of those up for like $20, like a proper one. So I shouldn't worry too much.
I'm sure it still works, but I think the one stick is kind of loose on it now.
You could probably actually claim it from them.
Actually, the only reason that I got the wired controller was because I wanted to cheat on Gears of War 3 and get some of the ribbons and crap because it was taking forever. And then I never did it, so it didn't matter.
Fools. Okay, so next bit of news. There's that kind of Thanksgiving Thanksgiving thing going on a certain part of the country, and they are Black Friday deals. Some of those are even coming across the UK, but this is a US only section because, quite frankly, I couldn't be asked to figure out the local deals going on over here in the UK. If you really want to find something, I'm sure you know how to use Google. But a quick roundup of what's going on. Here's Gary with what you can get.
All right, we're gonna go with. I only picked out a couple different places, picked out a couple things. But GameStop's gonna have an Xbox 360 250 gig hard drive with Halo 4 and Tomb Raider for $200, which is regularly $250. So you get to save $50. This is if you want to get the old console instead of the new one. They also have the 20 gigabyte hard drive for 100 with an extra wireless controller for $100. So
That's a steal.
yeah. I don't think you can change out the hard drive though.
Well, you can. Oh, that's the new shape one. Yeah, you can. You can just open it up and put a new one in, I think.
Oh, you can? Okay.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I don't think mine can.
I've got the old one with the big old one that went on the top, and if you have the right screwdriver, like the Torx one with the star-shaped one, you can actually open that up and swap it out for another laptop drive.
Yeah, my first Xbox red ringed while I was away seeing my ex-girlfriend. Somebody was playing my Xbox, kept it on, I'm guessing all weekend. I came home to a red ring, and
Yeah.
I freaked out.
My original 360 red ringed, and I fixed it until I got cocky. I'd cut a hole in the side and mounted a fan, and that was working brilliantly. Added extra cooling, not much extra noise, and I thought, hey, let's add some LEDs. And I accidentally cocked that up a treat, so I bought a new one for 100 quid and then just swapped the hard drives over. But yeah, if you've got an older Xbox and you don't use it and you need a boot drive, or it's not an SSD, unfortunately, or a little bit of extra storage, and you've got that 120 gig or 250 gig hard drive sitting on top of your old Xbox you never use, just unscrew the fucker, take it apart. It's a laptop hard drive inside. There you go. Jobs are good.
Interesting. Now you know, because I never would have. Anyway, also GameStop, we're gonna try to run through these as fast as possible, just so we don't have to spend too much time on it. PS3 250 gigabyte hard drive with The Last of Us and the Batman for $200. Battlefield 4 for $25. Just Dance 4 for $15. Suffolk 7-inch Android tablet for $70. And that's instead of $80 what it regularly is. So
Don't buy it, it'll be shit.
GameStop also has what they love to do: buy two pre-owned items in one category, including games, accessories, systems, and electronics, and get one free.
From the guys at Best Buy, you can pick up a PS3 250 gigabyte with the Black Friday bundle, which includes Batman and The Last of Us, for $200. That's 200 of your US dollars. For $34.99, call it 35 quid, dollars, I guess. You can get The Last of Us, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, FIFA 14. I wouldn't bother. It's just the same with 13, but with different names and looks a bit better. Madden 25, which is probably as before, and Beyond Two Souls for $35. Oh, and Battlefield 4, because that's on the next page. Didn't quite see it. Terribly sorry, old chap. Microsoft, you can get the Xbox 360 250 gigabyte Black Friday bundle with Halo 4, Darksiders 2, Tomb Raider, and Batman Arkham City for $200. Is it Luigi's Mansion 3DS, which is obviously Luigi's Mansion and a 3DS for $150, because if it was
It's actually Luigi's Mansion on the 3DS because it's a digital. And this is the original 3DS. It's not an XL or anything.
So it's not just the game for stupidly expensive. It's a 3DS, not the XL, nothing else, just the 3DS with it digitally. Probably downloadable once you've connected it to stuff, but that's not a bad price. At least you can get the Wii U TM Black Friday Mario bundle with Super Mario Brothers U, Red Mario Wiimote, and Plus, and that is £300. I keep stumbling because it's written as SMBU, and I keep wanting to say Super Mario Brothers Universe, but it's not. It's Super Mario Brothers U, and why isn't it Universe? Anyway, last but not least, Gary.
And if anybody cares, they have Amazon has Aliens Colonial Marines Collector's Edition for $25. Woohoo!
Unless you really want to waste $25, but
actually,
if you really want to waste $25, keep listening, and we'll tell you a better way of using that money. Okay, next bit of news. Not so good as sales, I suppose. But last year there was a school shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary, I believe. And it's now come to light that the gunman played a school shooting video game. And obviously, video games are the root of all evil. So apparently, the police have discovered that Adam Lanza played a chilling computer game titled School Shooting, where players enter a school and randomly target teachers and students before opening the gunfire on yourself. Although the way that reads, actually, it starts off with telling you about the school and then goes on to what happened. But yeah, apparently the two are completely interchangeable, and video games are bad. The point that must be made, and is never made enough about when things like this happen with people playing violent video games, is violent video games are a part of humanity now. So many people play them that they are almost the norm, and yet there aren't more and more people going out doing this kind of crazy shit. It's still pretty much the same, but now there's these video games, and they're using those as a reason for people playing them. And I'm sorry, it's happened before, and I've said this many times. Literary fiction had the same kind of public, people had the same kind of outcry about it, and how it was making people do stuff. Cinema and theatre and television and books and all the fine media that people use to portray other lives and whatever else have gone through all the same thing. And I guess it does mean that video games are in great company there, because some of the best things I've ever seen have been either on the stage or on television or in movies and or the theatre. And so I like the fact that video games are kind of getting lumped into that. What I don't like is the fact that people are saying, oh, he's played this game, it must be bad. And don't get me wrong, I don't for 1 minute think that a video game based on going into a school and killing children and teachers is a good idea. I think that's an entirely reprehensible idea. But it does show something about the state of mind of the person that was doing it, the fact that they would want to play such a game. And, well, exactly. But that has nothing to do with the video game. The chances are if he'd never seen the video game and had just watched the news and seen stuff about people doing that, he probably would have done it. And that's probably exactly what happened. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this isn't a bad thing. I hesitate to use the word tragedy, whereas for the parents involved it is a tragedy, but on a global scale, that it isn't. It is unfortunately life, but these things happen, and people try to find reasons, and more often than not, people are finding the reason of video games. And I, for one, have had enough. And I think it's about time that we stood up and said, actually, hey, look at all these games. No one blames Mario for people stealing stuff. Well, people don't steal stars. Okay. No one blames... no one blames Mario for people getting high on mushrooms. No one blames Sonic for people stealing rings. There are people that steal rings from people. The no one says, "Well, they obviously played too much Sonic." That would be laughable. And I want it to be laughable that people would say, well, he obviously played this game, so that's why he did it. Because that's not why he did it. He did it because evidently he's screwed in the head and he needed someone to talk to him. He needed someone to talk to. He needed some kind of counseling. He didn't fucking need to. It wasn't a fucking video game that made him do it. And there's so many goddamn times they say, oh, video games made him do this. No, they didn't. Weak will or being screwed in the head or something else made them do it. Or they just thought, oh, sod it, I'm going to go and do this. The video game wouldn't have given him the idea to do it. There's enough about it in the fucking news. I'm sorry, you can't blame video games for everything that's bad in this fucking world, because they actually have provided me and a lot of people I know a hell of a lot of good. Some of the best narratives I have come across have been in video games, but none of that ever gets highlighted, and I am sick and tired of it, and I think it's about time we all stood up and said, no, this has gone too far. Video games are not bad. They don't cause people to do this. They are something that is good, and they provide jobs. They, the whole industry that's worth more than Hollywood around these so-called hideous games that cause children to shoot people in schools. I'm sorry, that's not the case. If it was the case, everyone that was listening to this show would be going out committing mass murder. We're not, because we're not screwed in the head. Well, too much. I am a bit, admittedly, but that's nothing to do with video games whatsoever. And
Yeah, there's a lot of good that comes out of video games, but most of the people only look at the bad that comes from it. It may do 70%, good things for people and say 25 of normal stuff, and then 5% is the really bad stuff that happens, and it gets blamed because somebody played
or they played GTA
Call of
or some
Duty
shit like that.
and they stabbed somebody.
I'm not saying GTA shit, but it's far too easy for people in the media to blame video games for whatever's happened. And I think we should all take a stand and actually say, no, video games are not bad. In fact, they can be used for good. And it kind of brings us up to the next point in the news, which I don't believe we actually put into the notes. And that's something Gary and I are doing. And
we want to try to get more people to do it as well.
A few of you may have noticed that I didn't enter this year's Extra Life, and it was partly to do with the fact that it's the laws in the UK for charities, and it meant that I couldn't actually support a UK hospital, whereas in previous years I could. And this year, I was like, okay, I felt a bit burnt out. I couldn't really commit to doing it, but there's another charity close to my heart called Special Effect. I met these guys a few years ago at Eurogamer, and they are fantastic. Basically, what they do is they find ways for, well, imagine it this way. You are paralyzed. You can't do anything apart from move your eyes. That's it. The only, maybe blink, but that's the only interaction you have with other people. They can enable you to play video games. Can you imagine what your life would be without being able to play video games and just being able to look at stuff and blink and try to communicate? And then suddenly this charity comes along and says, oh, okay, well, we can use this to enable you to play video games. And actually, we've now developed it further so you can control a computer just with the movement of your eyes. I know it's not the same as Extra Life, the children's charity. It's a much more focused charity, but everything they do, every single story that I've come across and all the people I've met that have been touched by Special Effect have brought tears to my eyes. They are freaking amazing. They really are. And even if you don't sponsor myself or Gary, what I really would like you to do is to check out specialeffect.org.uk and just look at what they actually do and who they've helped, because it is amazing. I tried out some of the systems. I played a racing game and I just controlled it with my eyes, and I looked up to accelerate, looked down to brake, looked left to turn left, and looked right to turn right. And there are degrees in between, so you can look up and left and accelerate going out of a corner and stuff like that. And it's it's really fantastic the way that they can give these people that have had almost nothing to live for apart from hospital visits and seeing their relatives, and now there's stuff they can do. They can play games, they can interact with the world, okay, albeit via a computer or playing video games. But wouldn't you love to share the joy you've had playing video games with someone that is until now physically enabled to play it? And basically, these guys are looking for funding to help reach out to more people that can't enjoy something that you and I take for granted. So, yeah, Gary and I are doing a 24-hour marathon, much in the vein of Extra Life, in February. Is it the 22nd or 21st? Yeah, we're doing it on the 22nd. And we'd really love your help. And it's not as big as Extra Life, but we'd like to be able to do something. Well, I certainly would.
We're hoping to kind of
Yeah.
put together like the VG Hub team for this kind of thing as
before
well.
you decide to donate or anything, please check out specialeffect.org.uk and click on the what we do, who we've helped linked. And if it doesn't bring a tear to your eye, you're not human. You really aren't. But yeah, we want to help these guys out. It is a charity really dear to my heart. I don't personally know anyone with that situation, but I can really empathize with what it must be like from the times I spent in hospital not being able to do anything or move or speak. So I kind of understand. And I spent ages trying to get my mother to bring me a newspaper in, and she just kept bringing me grapes and slippers, and that I couldn't even walk. I didn't need slippers. I was like, no, newspaper. And I had this card that I could point on. If I could have used a device that tracked my eyes to just get onto the net, just to read the headlines or look at the pictures, that would have been so much better for me. But no, I had my idiot mother that couldn't understand that I just wanted a newspaper just to read the headlines to get a vague idea with what was going on in the world. And yeah, just check these guys out. They're a fantastic charity. They're building so much stuff. There was a chap who he can only move his head. He's paraplegic in a chair, and they've put sensors up in his headrest so that he could have up, down, left and right control for whatever he needs, and just back for click. And so he can play very basic games, but he can also use an on-screen keyboard. It takes him a little while, but he can find what he wants. If it's porn, well, fair enough to the chap. I don't know exactly what he's going to do because he can't move anything else in his body, but yeah, it's giving that kind of access that you and I and everyone else that's able-bodied and has an internet connection takes for granted. And we don't really think about people that are disabled in any way. And I think it's about time we did. And we proved that video games can do something for good, and they're not just there because someone shot people in a school. They're actually there for something far better than that. And it's not just entertainment. It's actually for helping people. So please help Gary and I. We'll have the links soon enough so you can sponsor us. But honestly, this is a heartfelt plea to all of you. Say, help these guys out. They really deserve the money. This charity is amazing.
Yeah, hopefully we can get some more people to help us out with this, and we can have a good time chatting to a bunch of people trying to help instead of Extra Life. I wish I could have done it this year, but I was moving into my parents the same day, and I didn't have enough time to actually do it. So it's nice I'll actually be able to help other people now.
I think there's a nice kind of symmetry helping people that can't play video games by playing video games. And if you don't want to sponsor us but want to donate, then go to that site. It's all there. It's cool. you can probably tell from the way I slowed down. This site, it really does mean something to me, and I am getting stupidly emotional about it. So please, every pound, every dollar really, really does help with this charity.
I don't even know how to.
I'm entirely sure myself. So, okay, have we figured out a question? Yeah, I've figured out a question of the week. It's not what we'd normally do for a question of the week, but the question of the week is either join our team, sponsor us, or at least look at bloody that website I was just talking about, because it is that damn important to me. Specialeffect.org.uk. Bloody go there now. That is the quest. Normally we'd have a quest or a question or something, and we give out our prizes. But at the moment, first show, I'm hijacking this, and I'm saying, right, our quest for all of us is to raise as much damn money for that charity as we bloody well can. Well, yeah.
At least that's.
So that's Gary and I's question of the week. Your quest of the week is to help us do that, or at least look at their site and tell me I'm wrong if you can. I don't think you can, to be honest, because it's a fantastic job.
Or you can join. Maybe.
You could join our team. Join our team, sponsor our team. Just do something to help. That's what we asked for this week. Next time we'll have a proper quest, and there'll probably even be a prize. In fact, there will be a prize because we've got a backlog of codes to give away. So, listen next week if you want a game.
All right. I think it's time for some cleanup. So, Dan, you got any shout-outs for this week?
Not really. Well, I suppose my co-host over at Iron Hammers, Bobby Gooding, better give him a shout-out, because I don't think enough people go to ironhammers.org and listen to the live video casts that we do every 2 weeks. There's a bunch of Yanks that do it in the weeks in between, but they're nowhere near as good. But come and check us out at ironhammers.org. My GP for finally realizing that I'm not mental and I need to actually sort myself out. You, Gary, for kind of giving me the kick up the arse that I need to start podcasting again. Indeed. How about you, sir?
Keep it going. I think a couple of guys that on the team speak. Rabbit Scotsman.
Yeah, we need to get him on the show.
Talking to him a lot lately. He plays a little bit of Guild Wars. But we'll definitely try to get that with all of his stuff going on. Hopefully he has some time. Garwin, I had a very long, deep conversation with Garwin the other night, just randomly about a bunch of different stuff, because nobody else was on TeamSpeak that night.
Of course, Steve.
JSS Lifelike, Steve. He was supposed to be on today, but his wife was sick, so he couldn't get on.
And he has a baby.
Still has a baby.
Feels like it. No.
Oh, is he still a baby?
Feels like he should be at college or something right now. Yeah.
Steve loves being a father so much.
I've just
Every
realised
time I talk to him, he always
there's a
brings
couple
them up.
I need to shout out as well.
And
Sorry, I forgot them. I tweeted out just before the show, we're rebooting. What do you want to talk to us? And I had two responses, one from Teflon212 and one from Acid B, otherwise known as Chris Cox. And so shout out to you two guys. We kind of covered what you suggested. So, yay. Sorry to interrupt there, Gary.
That's fine. That's really all I got for this week. I guess the last one I'm going to do is my wife, because she has been a very, very strong person. She's had a lot of medical issues over the last month. She hasn't been able to work or anything. She has surgery next Wednesday, and she has been very sportful about her condition.
Well, I'll be thinking of her.
All right, Dan, web for the week to come. Where can we find you, sir?
Well, as ever, I'm Hardlydan everywhere. Technically on Xbox Live, but I don't use it anymore, so don't bother looking for me there. That'll be Steam, Twitter, OnLive, Origin. Can't think what else, but lots of stuff. If you want to get hold of me on anything else, hit me up on Twitter and I'll give you the other login details. Some things I keep private, obviously. my Facebook and my Google Plus. But yeah, that's about it. What about you, sir?
Well, I'm not going to be on Xbox or PlayStation unless somebody wants to play something with me.
Oh.
But I will be on... Not those games. Anyway, Steam's Amras_89, Twitter's Amras89, Skype's Amras_89, and that's really all I'm going to be at, I think.
Yeah, you can see why I picked just one name for everything, can't you? It makes this bit so much easier.
Yeah, well, it doesn't help that people keep stealing my damn name.
I'm kind of surprised that my name's only been stolen once. For a game that I don't really play, so I don't care. Although I think I might have just stolen it myself and can't remember the login. It's probably more likely. Yeah.
All right, Dan, take us out of here.
Well, I haven't done this for a while. Okay. Well, if you want to find us on Facebook, and we'd love you to find us on Facebook, although we haven't put much up there recently, that will soon change. Just put the Gamesmen RPG in Facebook, and I'm sure it'll pop up there. Like us, whatever, check us out, leave us messages, whatever. We're there. The same with Twitter, actually. Our Twitter account is at the Gamesmen RPG. We haven't got any new followers because, well, we haven't been on for frickin' ages. We'd really quite like to have some voicemails because, well, it would help us not have to find content for the show, to be honest. Yeah, we'd really like some voicemails because it means we don't have to worry about so much content. So if you want to give us a call, our RPG hotline is 412 267 RPG1, 412 267 RPG1. Leave us messages, ask us questions, anything you want. Gary or I will pick it up and we'll include it into the next show. If Twitter and voicemail and Facebook aren't your thing, you can always email us at thegamesmanrpg@gmail.com, or you can submit MP3s or voicemails that way too. And don't forget, you can also, well, I say listen to us, but we haven't put a show up with just audio on YouTube for quite some time. But you can check out our TGM tag-alongs at youtube.com/thegamesmanrpg. And we'd really like it if more people watch the videos, especially the ones I put up, because they've had no views. Like them, subscribe, all that good stuff. And if there are any ideas you want us to investigate or talk about for the next show, or you've got RPG questions or quest ideas, just hit us up on any of those and we will quite happily include them into the show. Last but not least, the old iTunes malarkey, reviews, good or bad, either way. If you don't like the show, if you like the show, just get in contact with us. If you don't like the show, if there's something we're not doing right or something we're missing out, let us know. We'd like to accommodate. And it's the reboot, we're starting again. We can evolve to encompass whatever you want, as long as it's in the gaming sphere. We're not going to start talking about Battlestar Galactica or Star Trek as much as I'd like us to, but we're in, or even board games. It's video games, and well, for me mainly PC, for Gary PC and Wii U, until one of us gets a next gen console. This gen console, I suppose. But yeah, I think that's about it.
Hey, can't really call it next gen.
No, current gen console. But yeah, I think that's about it.
All current. Alright guys, that'll do it for this first episode of The Gamesmen. So on behalf of Hardlydan, I am Amras, we are The Gamesmen. Until next time we ask,
what role will you play?